I need to fucking unmute. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pre-Patch Podcast, fucking Scruff Podcast.
Like that.
I'm sorry, Scuff, not Scruff.
What?
Well, I mean, it is a Scruff podcast.
It's Scruff's podcast now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, welcome on in. Sorry that we're late, guys. For some reason, OBS just felt like, hey, you know what? I know you see that background in fucking Stream Elements as perfectly fine, but I'm not going to show it to you as perfectly fine on OBS. So that's why we're a little bit late. How's everybody doing? Welcome on in. Pre-Patch Podcast, episode 147. What do we name it again? I can't remember.
EA in Crisis.
EA in
No
Crisis.
die.
We didn't change it on Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Changed things.
That's
Cool.
all right. I
Well,
got it.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out.
147 episodes, guys, and we still can't get out of the situation of having scuffed fucking entries and inabilities to work with fucking technology, apparently. So
When in doubt, blame
Nothing-
Discord.
nothing fucking new there, right? Welcome on in though, guys. How's everybody doing? Everybody having a good week? What about you guys?
Yeah.
I think I should probably shift you around, but I guess you're good to go. You're good right there, Bill. You're looking at the wall though. I didn't notice.
We're
It's
good.
fine.
Honestly,
it's fine.
we're
I'm looking at
sending
chat.
it.
Hi, chat. How you guys doing
Yeah.
down there?
Mhm.
Don't,
Yeah, how's
don't
everybody
you
doing?
be too much of rascals.
How's
Cool, man.
everybody's
It was-
last couple of weeks been? Hopefully everybody's been doing well.
Been
It'd be
pretty
fine
good.
if
Can't
Spider-Man
complain too
didn't
much.
exist in a video game.
Damn.
Dang.
Marvel Rivals situations
Yeah.
going on right now. Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
full
That'll do it.
conversation going on. I wish I was here for last week's conversation. Honestly, we might have to rehash the conversation because there was some things that I wanted to say, but you know,
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
you
We'll-
want- You want to drag the show on for a whole hour?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
No,
Well,
much
if you
how we
do
were
that, then Sin's gonna have to come in on the
Exactly,
third show
yeah.
back of the year, and we're gonna have to have another
And then
conversation
we'll
about it
do
so
it
you two can
again.
actually go head to head with
exactly.
it.
Yep,
Exactly. Well, I
yep,
mean,
yep.
I wouldn't say that it would be necessarily be us butting heads. I just there was a lot of things that I wish we would have talked about a little bit more. But you guys had a full episode last episode,
It
so
was already a
I
full-
don't fucking
oh,
blame you
yeah.
at all. Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah. Welcome on in, guys. Hopefully you guys are having a great week. If you guys are not aware, we obviously are back to our original schedule where we're doing it every other week. So hopefully you guys were not expecting us last week because we were not here. Obviously, we didn't do one last week, but we hope that you guys continue to support us every other week as per usual, and we'll be here, same place, same time, just a week in difference. So. We got
Yeah.
a lot to talk about this week, guys. Like a lot to talk about. So we're just gonna jump. I think we're just gonna jump right into it. You guys didn't have any.
Let's get in there.
You guys didn't have any video games. I had a video game. I wish Sin was here. Sin is not feeling good today, guys. So give him a little bit of a little bit of love, and hopefully he gets feeling a little bit better. Hopefully
him
we'll see him
kisses.
next podcast.
Butterfly
So
kisses on his tum tum.
I think we're
Not
I think
kisses on
we're
his
going.
tummy.
As long as we don't add in the fucking cursed puppy image that we had
No.
back in
Please,
the
no.
fucking early episode 30s or whatever, man. You weren't
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
Tony, for that, but like literally we used one like puppy, like sick puppy dog picture. And like literally after we used that, it was like
For a month.
1 week I was sick. The next week Scruffy was sick. The next week
Dude.
Bill and fucking Sin were sick. The next week I was sick
Fucking
again.
Jesus.
It ran its course through all of us.
Wow.
It was like a gauntlet on us. Like
So we
Oh
we
my
can't
God.
use that fucking image anymore.
Yeah,
There's-
keep
that's
that
cursed,
away
man.
from
We
me.
can't-
Yeah,
we
keep
can't
that away
do
from
that.
me.
Yeah.
I don't want no parts of it.
But yeah, so let's just jump right into it. This week or the last couple weeks, I have been playing a video game called Heroes of Hammerwatch. Why is that not fucking shifting over to that though? I tell you, man, I'm really
Oh, that looked like No
I'm
Man's
getting
Sky.
upset. I'm getting upset.
He's getting angry.
Why is this not
Get
fucking
the fuck
working?
He's about
I'm
to Hulk
about to
out.
fucking get angry. There we go.
Mhm.
That's the right one.
there it is.
So we
There
do
we go.
have Sin in spirit. We are using his footage here, so
Nice.
I didn't
So
have a
he
chance
is
to
here.
upload mine.
Yeah.
So he's here in spirit at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, Heroes of Hammerwatch. If you guys don't know what that is, I think you and I played it. You, me, and Sin played it before Scruffy, if I'm not mistaken.
First one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
It's
first one that we
a-
have.
It's like a top-down isometric action RPG, but it kind of like implements like a slight roguelike feel to it when it comes down to like getting into maps. You don't have like those standardized maps in like Diablo where you're going in, you're just killing everything. These ones are very, I wouldn't say that there are like fully randomly generated because they are
Yeah.
very similar,
I
but
think
they
it's like
do
a
have
random number generator of different variants.
there are
something
different
like
things
that.
in the
Pre-made
map.
tiles that are linked together.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
They're very similar. Each map is very similar. You're seeing a lot of the same map tiles. There's
Right.
certain variations
Similar
between
puzzles.
everything. It's just
Yeah.
map like the spawning of enemies are a little bit different. The spawning of the treasures are a little bit different depending on what you get. You can go into a map like I went into a certain map that had like a vendor that would give you a free a free weapon or a free piece of armor or something, and then the next map that I ran there wasn't that, but it was like a like a farmer that gave you some food and everything like that. So it's got very minor like randomly generated things going on in each map. You also have multiple different classes, as Sin is showing off here. I think he originally started playing a ranger, if I'm not mistaken, and then he moved into wizard and such. But they
How many
all
classes
have,
are there?
I think right
Is it
now
just the four?
there is the
Looks like-
5, if I'm not mistaken. There's ranger, wizard, warrior, paladin, and I think that might be it. But then on top of that, you can unlock classes through doing the actual campaign. So you can unlock like the
Okay.
sorcerer, you can unlock
Yeah.
like the rogue, I think it was one of them. There's
That's how the first one was too.
I think there's another one that you can unlock for the wizard. I can't remember what exactly the name of it is. But I think there's like 4 or 5 other different unlocks that you can find by doing just progressing the game, essentially just going through.
Yeah, and that's like kind of where the rogue light aspect
Yeah.
comes in. Like there's a out of run like progression as well.
Exactly. Yep. So this has a very similar progression style to games like Vampire Survivors, where you go in, you kill a bunch of shit. If you die, you bring back a couple of pieces of loot, and you can kind of customize your character through that. But you also can customize your character through like different skills. There's stats in play when it comes down to this. So like you can come back. I think my paladin that I was playing had like high intelligence for mana, but it also had like high strength to be able to tank hits and everything like that. In each of the classes does very, very unique things. So the paladin was extremely good at like, I played the paladin predominantly at the start because like he has his lay on hands, which in these types of games, any kind of heal is invaluable, right? Like it's just if you can heal yourself, you're gonna go far. And I originally played the wizard to start out with. Wizard was great, fucking great damage, everything like that, right? Exactly what you would expect from a wizard. You're dropping fireballs everywhere, you're casting chain lightning on everything, you know. I think we're gonna see fucking Sin get killed right here. But
Oh,
you're
no.
dropping
I mean, this game is
fireballs and
brutal,
everything
man.
like that. It is, dude. It
Legit,
is
you
fucking
get
hard,
swarmed
man.
And you get cornered, you're like done. Especially like you said, if you don't have
Yeah.
heals, you're done.
No,
The
it
warrior
is
class brutal
it
to
is
play.
so fucking hard. The paladin I think
Yeah.
was the easiest class that I had, just because again you simply, you know, you would get
Yeah.
in there, you would drop your lay on hands, that would take you pretty much from like death to pretty much full health, and you just kept on trucking. It was also an extremely tanky class. But it also did like you could block attacks. You had a chance of blocking attacks, which would completely negate damage and everything like that. So very
Question:
very much a good class to start out with. Yeah, what's up?
does this game have a colorblind mode? Because watching it, I'm having a lot of issues with like the saturation of the characters and like the enemies and stuff. That's it's all kind of blending into the
I'm
background
not
together,
positive
and
on
it's
that.
really hard for me. I
I'm
think
not
I would have
positive
trouble
either.
playing this just because I'm like losing
Yeah.
stuff
'Cause
in
No,
the
I-
background.
even,
It's
like-
beautifully done, but I'm
It's-
having a lot of trouble.
honestly,
focusing on,
I get
like,
it.
it's not
I get it.
just you. It's
It's a
especially with some of
clusterfuck
the
of a game.
especially with some of the enemies. There's little enemies that are like flowers that shoot out toxin in like arcs, right? I had so many issues like noticing those on the map. They blend in so well with the background and like the grass and everything like that. But I could definitely tell, like, if you had some kind of colorblind mode, like with greens,
It'd be
I
terrible.
would imagine
Which-
greens
yeah.
would be terrible. Yeah, because
Yeah.
everything in this fucking game is green.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's my colorblind. So.
I do not believe that
game's
they have a
beautiful,
colorblind
though.
mode though. Unfortunately I do not believe that they have a colorblind mode. That is something that they should probably look at, but yeah, this game is very niche as well, so it's not one of those things where I'd imagine it's probably a very small player base. Even though I think there's a lot of people that are colorblind. I think like in comparison to like
Bro,
population,
we
it's like
need
it's a huge percentage.
In today's day and age, we need like just a monitor that has colorblind.
Well, they've got those
settings.
glasses. They have those glasses that are supposed to help, don't they?
Yeah,
But they're
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah,
as
they're
fuck.
expensive.
They're
Yeah.
expensive as
They're
fuck,
already-
dude.
They're like
Already
2K.
have
Yeah.
already have color
$2,000
settings on
for
my monitor.
glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, for colorblind
Nah,
glasses.
I'm
Yeah.
looking.
But yeah,
So
no,
the
I
game-
do agree with you that like 2025, it should be one of those things that like it's just accessibility wise, colorblind mode
built-in
should be
thing.
in
Yeah.
a lot of games. Honestly, I agree with you completely on that one.
But you were
Well-
saying it's kind of a niche game. I'm looking at the numbers right now. It peaked at 15K and it's
Yep.
currently averaging 8K. So
Yeah,
fairly niche, but
It's
This
it's
is
not
a-
bad.
it's only-
though.
no, it's not bad. It's single player and co-op,
Yeah.
correct?
It's single
Yes.
player
Okay,
co-op, couch co-op, I believe as well. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure, but it is co-op. I did play this with Sin the other day as well. So it's smooth. Like when it comes down to it, I believe it's full. I believe it's full release. I don't think it's early access. But it's a smooth game, man. And if I remember correctly, the first Heroes of Hammerwatch was really good. We just didn't get a lot of time into it. I can't remember what else was coming out, but something else came out shortly after the first one
Yeah.
released, and we just
I
stopped
played a
playing
shit
it.
ton of the first one, but we,
Okay, well, I didn't. I think I only had like 6
together, I
hours in it.
Yeah, together our co-op experience wasn't that long.
Yeah, I only had 6
So-
hours in it. This one, I think I've got 8 hours in it so far, and I still want to play a little bit more. I've done the first 2 bosses. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the bosses are extremely fucking difficult when you first get into it. That first one,
Oh yeah.
man, I did that first one like 6 fucking times before I finally was able to beat it. So, but it's an extremely hard game. I think it has a very unique system to it though when it comes down to like progression as well though. Like every run you're building your coffers with like stone and wood and gold, and those are then used to upgrade your city, your town, which can give you more like upgrades to go into runs with. So like one of the upgrades is like a tavern that will allow you to go into runs with like a food buff. Another is like a tavern that will, or a distillery or something like that will allow you to go into runs with a potion buff and stuff like that. So you can get like blacksmiths that allow you to upgrade your weapons, etc., etc., etc. So I think it has a really cool progression even outside of just the gameplay of like unlocking stats and equipment and other classes for your actual gameplay, right? Outside of that actual combat, it has a really cool progression system that I really enjoy as well. So but yeah, that's Heroes of Hammerwatch. You guys got any other questions? I mean, it's a really basic game, but I think it really does deserve a little bit of attention. I'm actually surprised that you said 80K?
8K.
8K. I'm sorry, 8K. What was the max again?
Yeah. 15,000.
15,000 for this is huge. I think.
Yeah,
man.
that
Like,
was its
that's
its launch
crazy.
peak, and it's averaging this month 8,000. So
that's
it's
pretty
Yeah,
good for
holding
this
a
style
decent
of
I
game.
know
Man.
Shroud and some
Yeah,
of
I'm
those
not
boys were
into-
playing and picked it up, so that definitely I'm sure gave it a good little
I don't
boost.
doubt
Yeah,
it.
probably
it
gave it
looks
a
like a
boost.
great game. I just like I
It's
said,
fun.
my only issue is I wish I could see.
Yeah, the colorblind
I
mode for
don't-
sure.
I don't do top down, so this is probably not my style of game.
It's-
I don't like
yeah.
I don't like top down games.
If you're not a fan of like top down isometrics or like Diablo style games, probably
But
not
hey,
going to
if-
enjoy it. But
If Fortnite was top down, Tony he'd be all over it.
that's the next thing.
Nah,
That's the
nah.
next thing for Fortnite. It's going to be a top down
Nah,
Diablo.
nah.
Top-down shooter. That'd
Not
be kind of
me.
sick, actually.
They're
I
gonna
don't
they're
know.
gonna
probably
adopt
would,
the
but I'm good.
Diablo-esque that the Diablo 4's lead guy was like, yeah, every game that does this kind of thing should just be known as a Diablo style game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
good on
everybody
that.
wants to be Dark Souls so
Exactly,
bad. Like
bro.
have their own
Fortnite, Dark
genre, Souls like
next.
Diablo like.
Exactly.
There is actually a Bloodborne mod where they have Bloodborne playing as a top-down isometric. It's
I have
pretty
seen
darn
that.
cool.
I have seen that
It
actually. Yeah.
looks really solid.
Have you
I
have
have
you
seen
seen the
that.
Elden Ring Bloodborne mod?
No.
Dude,
No.
crazy. Yeah,
I did-
turns Elden
I
Ring
did- I-
totally into Bloodborne.
I did see something about a new emulation for Bloodborne that's being ported over to the PC recently.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Which is really cool. Is really cool. I still don't think we're ever gonna fucking get it on PC. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just being cynical, but Sony's just like, I'm not giving it to you. No.
Right. Like they're just
Not
being
until they
petty
do
this point, it's
a
all they have.
remake or a remaster. of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I think that's when it'll come to PC.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one for sure. But that's all we've been really playing. We had Pantheon on here. Yeah, we had Pantheon on here, which we will be talking about a little bit next week. Both myself, Scruffy, and Sinan have all been playing that, so I'm looking forward to kind of getting into a little bit of a conversation with that. I have changed my mind. I will say that like I went into Pantheon not expecting much from it, and from playing
Save
it
for the podcast.
yeah, I've been really impressed. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
move
playing,
into
I'm playing Monster Train a little bit. I got it gifted.
Monster Train.
And
Nice. That's a good one.
That reminds me. Next podcast, I will have Darkest Dungeon 2. I just picked that up. It was on sale, and I was always skeptical about purchasing it because it was completely different from Darkest Dungeon. I'm excited to play it though. Like they have a new update that came out that supposedly has reinvigorated it. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyways, that being said, you'll have to come back for the next podcast for those games. That'll be in 2 weeks, as I said before.
Indeed.
Let's move into the news, shall we? Shit's been crazy recently, man. Like
This is a really depressing
2025 has been crazy, bro. Like I feel like this has been the longest year and we're not even a month into it. You know what I mean? For at least for gaming, when it comes
rough for game. I was just gonna say for gaming, it's been real rough, man.
So I don't know if you guys saw this. I know this was something that that Sin had added in here. Apparently the US, if you don't know, the US at the start of the year banned TikTok for like I think 24 hours. Yeah, it was like a day.
Yeah, barely.
But in the process of them banning TikTok, they also banned a bunch of subsidiaries of, I believe it's TikTok, or it's like
it's the parent company of TikTok.
Yeah, something to do with like the parent
company.
companies. Yeah. So they banned like Marvel Rivals. Marvel Snap was banned.
Yeah.
There was a couple of other games, like a couple of other mobile games that were banned as well. And apparently Tencent was also on that list of companies that the US took aim at. This was more in in kind of like conjunction to them being apparently some kind of like military state organization. I don't know, like a Chinese military company allegedly. But apparently
I think it comes from the funding process. I think like the information gathering and funding. There was concerns similar with TikTok that Chinese military was using Tencent as an information funnel or as a money funnel, basically.
Which is crazy, man. Which is crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe on that. Apparently, there was an update on January 8th that the Tencent basically came out and said as Tencent is neither a Chinese military company nor a military civil fusion contributor to the Chinese defense industrial base. It believes that this inclusion in this list is a mistake. I don't know if they've actually been removed from it yet or not. But they do intend to basically initiate a reconsideration process. They're asking the U.S. Department of Defense to resolve that and make a reconsideration for that. Which, you know, good on them. I mean, I don't know what to think. What do you guys think about this whole situation?
I don't believe that their company
ours,
is
right?
What was that, Tony?
I said I don't believe this company is a military supplier. Like I think they just got caught up in something. Because to be honest, like if you already like you got more minority stakes in Epic Games, From Software, Larian Studios, like they're with these studios. I don't believe that they have anything
Ubisoft
going on.
as well, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure about Ubi. Hopefully not. We don't bring up Ubisoft.
I think Ubisoft. You got some bad news. We're bringing up Ubisoft later, bro.
Oh god. But yeah, I don't think
do believe Tencent owns a little bit of Ubisoft, though. I don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, right. So yeah, that's an interesting one. What's up?
Yeah.
I don't think there are any more so than you remember back when the war, the Russia-Ukraine war started, and there was like a lot of contention around like Russian-based gaming companies and like their funding of the Russian military and stuff like that. I know Atomic Heart had a big controversy about that, where people were wanting to boycott the game because they thought it was funding the Russian war somehow. I think it's not any more grounded in fact than what that was, which it wasn't.
It's a big nothing burger half the time. I don't know, man. This whole situation with
it's standard taxes, but
yeah,
I don't know how they tax in China. So
this whole situation with Tencent and with TikTok and everything like that, I just, dude, to be completely honest, like, and I'm coming. This is coming from a completely. I haven't looked at it. I haven't really done my research on it. I don't like TikTok in general. I'm not a big fan of social media in the first place, so it doesn't really affect me much. But I do believe it's stupid that the US is looking at this when we have much more important shit that we should be looking at in our country at the moment. We don't want to get political. Obviously, this is not a political fucking podcast. We are a gaming podcast. But sometimes, unfortunately, politics moves into gaming, and we do have to talk about it a little bit. Yeah. We wish it wouldn't. I wish that they would leave the whole bullshit alone and just let us be our own little thing in the corner. But you know, they got to get their US government's got to get their slice of the pie when it comes down to it. So
and everything.
This seemed like that's cooled down a little bit.
It does.
Recently,
it does feel like it. Yeah.
Hopefully that stays the case and we can keep all of the good games. Because if Tencent went down, if they ended up pushing Tencent and actually like canceling the ability to buy or play Tencent products, you know, there's so many games.
It's a lot, dude. Tencent has their hands in a lot of pies, dude, in a lot of pots. I mean, and it's crazy. It's like if you actually look at what I was about to say, if you actually look at what Tencent like actually has controlling interests or like even just interests in general into, it's staggering how many fucking companies they have their hands in. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like you said, hopefully that will not be the case for very long. I'm hoping it kind of settles down a little bit in the coming weeks. One thing that will not be settling down though, EA, man, I don't know what it is 2025 and these gaming companies that are just like, I think they're all, we've talked about it in the past, right? Where it's like all these gaming companies are like competing with each other to be the more shitty company in the gaming sphere. Recently.
Well, these are all gaming companies that we grew up on and were like they were the big giants of our time.
Exactly.
And now it's one of those things where you're around for the rise and you're around for the fall of an empire or a company.
Exactly.
Because
the rise was all the passion and everything that built into it, with the actual like gamers being devs and devs being gamers. And now it's corporations.
It's all about money. So now it's corporate, and that's why gaming is crashing right now.
Why it's falling. So it's
it's all about the corpo.
They rose too big. That's the biggest problem.
One good thing that has come of this, thing that has come of this from EA though, I don't know what you guys feel about this. Apparently they are shutting down the Origin app. That doesn't mean that they will not. Yeah, I was about to say that doesn't mean that they will not have their own launcher. EA has a separate launcher now called the EA Store or the EA Play or something along those lines that they're now forcing everybody over to. Essentially, the reason why they're shutting down Origin is because Windows 10, I believe, has stopped. Due to Windows 10, Microsoft end of support of 32-bit software, it's made it necessary for them to basically switch it because Windows 11 and 10 both are 64-bit only, and Origins, I believe, is a 32-bit, I believe. Yeah, 32-bit
The Origins
software.
is a 32-bit, and now they're basically saying that you must purchase a new PC if you got a 32-bit computer to play their EA games.
To be fair, if you still have a 32-bit computer, what are you doing?
I get it. I get it, but still.
I get you. just saying.
Yeah, I don't know about the EA app. It does say right there that the EA app is not compatible with older systems, which is insane to me. But at the same time, yeah, like Scruffy said, like if you're not on a 64-bit like operating system at this point, like you're literally on like Windows XP, man. Like fucking upgrade that shit, bro.
I don't mean to laugh at your computer. I'm sorry. If you got 32-bit, you're probably looking at this podcast and we're skipping across the street.
I was on the bus. I was there. So I get it.
But yeah, upgrade your PCs.
What makes me sad about all this is like, I was like excited because that app sucks, and I was like, oh, maybe now we'll be able to launch apps, on Steam and not have to open a second launcher. Now you'll still have to do that.
Nope, still gotta open up the EA app, which.
So
I don't know, man. Origin app was terrible, dude. Like, have you guys used the new EA app? It's a lot better.
Oh no, not the. Or maybe,
it's a ton better. Like it's a ton better from the Origin app. The Origin app was trash. Like I feel like they let their intern code that shit, and we're just like, yeah, fucking push it. Why not? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, so EA is in the hot seat this week. Not only because they're making people upgrade their systems to 64-bit systems, but also it came out that they've lost $6 billion in market value. Billion with a B. Billion with a B in market value from poor performance from both Dragon Age and FC25. What is FC25? Isn't that?
Is that a car game?
EA Sports. Yeah, EA Sports FC20. Is it FIFA? Okay, yeah. So they've lost a lot of value, a lot of market value from poor performance of both of those, which
let me just say this. They changed, so just so everybody knows, it's formerly known as FIFA. Now it's called EA Sports FC 2025 for anybody that didn't know.
I did not know that. I thought it was still being called FIFA. Yeah,
maybe that's why it didn't sell well. Is because nobody knew.
Maybe you changed the name. It's been working for years.
And you don't tell people,
bruh.
It's just weird, man. There's some decisions I'm just like, what made that come? Like, why?
Yeah,
I don't know.
50%.
Yeah, so
it missed.
I was about to say that's Dragon Age. Dragon Age the Veilguard, 50% reaching. Even though it reached 1.5 million players, that means a lot of people refunded that shit, dude. Like either refunded it or got it for free or something along those lines.
They lost the rights to the FIFA name.
That is crazy. Oh, they lost it. Okay, that's crazy. But yeah,
50%, and this is coming from somebody who kind of enjoyed the game a little bit on some of its aspects. Like I had fun with it. I was advocating for it a little bit. It's not the worst game that's been out there, but you couldn't tell that from the sales numbers. Holy shit! For a Dragon Age game to miss the mark that bad.
So that and me and you butted heads on this. I remember that. I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to dredge the past up. But that was my point. Was like, this is not a Dragon Age game. Them labeling it as a Dragon Age game, I think, is what I think it pushed forward a little bit more of an expectation for gamers that it was going to be that style of Dragon Age game that they were expecting from Origins and from the previous Dragon Age games, right? And it just didn't hit the mark, and I think that's what really killed it. On top of the whole fiasco with a bunch of people, all the grifters on YouTube, I think that has a lot to do with it. Like, a lot of people on YouTube really ripped on it, to a point that, like, I just think it got a really bad stigma to it.
Seems like that's like more of the death nail than anything these days. It seems like more and more online criticism, like pre-game launch online criticism, seems to be hurting games a lot more than anything
I'll
else.
have to 100% agree with you, because if you notice, ever since influencers and now everybody has a review and they reviewing things, EA has been getting hit. BioWare has been getting hit. Ubisoft has been getting hit. And now you just have to imagine for a second, if the technology of today was used, influencers, social media was used back in the day when EA, Ubisoft, all these companies first got started, do you think they would have been railroaded the way they're getting hit now? I don't think so, because of the games. I don't think so. No,
that's what I was about to point out. Yeah, that's what I was about to point out. Is like, I feel like today's day and age, when it comes down to like a lot of these games, and there are the outliers, like like Larian and their fucking games, but like that is like extreme outliers, right? Those are the games that are known for spending years and years and years on quality, right? These new games, I think they're, especially when it comes down to like these bigger game companies like EA, like Ubisoft, we talked about it in the past multiple times. It feels like a lot of times these game companies, these bigger ones like EA, Sony, Ubisoft, some of these other game companies, they're just pumping out content, and they're not really putting an emphasis on quality. They're not really putting an emphasis on like gameplay, like enjoyable gameplay when it comes down to it, right? And I think that's also hitting their stocks a lot. And I think, like you said it earlier, Scruffy, where it's like, back then these companies were being made by gamers. They were being made by people that were passionate about gaming. These days, it's all about the fucking stock prices. It's all about the stockholders. It's all about how much money we can make for our stockholders and for our CEOs.
But as gamers, we kind of caused that problem, though. I'm just being honest. As gamers, we wanted to be now, because you have to think about it. For back in the day when we played games, it was just for leisure. It was to have fun. Now there's a competitive scene, and we wanted to be professional. You gave it the exposure you wanted it to, and now it's gotten to a point where it's about the money instead of the fun.
Well, not just that as well, but like we as gamers, we've talked about it again. We've talked about it in the past, where it's like the thirst for content for gaming these days is so strong because people you have people like these content creators that are literally pumping through a back in the day a 15 to 20 hour game would have taken us months, right? These days people are finishing it in like a day and a half, sometimes less than that, right? and then they're complaining not only onto the next game, but then they're complaining about the fact that there's not enough content in the game that they just played. Well, you just blew through a 20-hour fucking campaign in one day. What do you fucking mean?
What do you expect? Exactly. They do no side missions, just rush straight to the games.
And then
not enjoying shit.
They complain and they write a bad review, and then the game
tanks,
and then rinse and repeat. It's like
and then if they are a serious influencer, let's say let's say for instance, let's use me as an example, and then we can move on if you want. But use me as an example. I have a vendetta against Ubisoft, right? Let's say this game is really good. It's really, really, really good. But I hate Ubisoft, and I'm an influencer. I got millions of people watching me. All it takes is for me to just say, "Oh, that game is shit." Now your whole game takes a tank. Like it bottoms out because I have the influence to say, "Hey, your game is not good," and everybody follows suit. Now your sales drop.
It's Ubisoft. You're not lying.
I do think.
Well, I'm not. But
there's some truth in that, though. I think a lot of not a lot of games, but I do think there have been a few games that have been like targeted on one aspect that has been like hyper fixated on when everything around it has been like at least passable or even good in some cases.
Right.
Well, you look at recent releases like Veilguard, like Hogwarts Legacy, right? Those two games were targeted very heavily for Justice League. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I think Justice League deserved it.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, no, I completely agree with you, Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've become a little bit jaded as gamers too. I hate to bring it up, and if Sin was here, he would bring it up. Gamers, a lot of them don't like video games anymore, and they enjoy shitting on games more than they actually enjoy playing them these days.
Yeah,
whether that is because the product quality has gone down to the point where that is the reality of things, or whether our expectations have just gotten to the point where it's not like sustainable for a lot of game developers. I know the indie market doesn't get that kind of hate, and maybe it is because there's more passion in those projects, but
bro, I played $10 and $5 games that were more enjoyable than a AAA title for $60, $70.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I have played indie titles that have given me days, months of fun compared to the one dopamine hit I get from, oh look, there's sweat dropping down his face. Oh my God, this game is great. Like I don't know. It's just me though.
With these AAA games, what kills me though is like it's our gamer community consumerism that we still buy into it though, even if it's shit product. Look at Call of Duty.
I've been fucking standing that for months.
And I called this such a long time ago, and I really do hope I'm not right, but I'm still worried to this day that we're going to buy gamers are going to buy into the new Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh, well, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm not buying that
shit. 100% still believing people are still going to buy into that, even after the shitstorm it's been through and all the reasons for us not to buy it. It's still going to happen.
No, yeah, they will 100%. It's not a possibility. It's a guarantee that 100% you will see on release day that everybody will be playing that game. It's just the way that it goes, man.
Unfortunately, told I don't think the game looks that bad.
It doesn't. It doesn't look that bad, but at the same time,
it doesn't look that bad.
It doesn't look that great either. Like
Bill, Bill, it's Ubisoft, please.
I know it's Ubisoft. I'm well aware. But for the quality of the products they've been releasing recently, yes, like putting controversy, putting all of the like meta bullshit aside, the game does not look as
it doesn't
bad
look
as
bad.
what Star Wars Outlaws
I'll
did,
wait
or
until it comes out.
what I think it looks better than Valhalla. Personally, I think this is
I don't know
more
about
of
that. I think it looks
level.
the exact same as Valhalla, personally, but
Yeah,
I mean, all the games look the same, Bills.
That's the biggest problem.
For Assassin's Creed, just my opinion, it's the same shit.
They're all reskins to me.
They all are, and I promise you, you could probably look at For Honor, and some of those skins came from there.
one of those. They all just started to rinse and repeat those games, but I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we'll see when it comes out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely. Well, I'm sure we'll have a lovely conversation.
I ain't picking this one up day one like I did Dragon Age.
Yeah, you said you're not, right? So who's gonna be the test dummy for
you
for
are
the podcast?
You volunteered, bro. There you go.
I have a loathing, seething hate for this company. I can't do. You know what?
For the
podcast.
Until they give you a game for free, and then you'll be.
You're gonna give us an excuse. It's for the podcast. That's what Sin always gives us.
For the podcast.
For the podcast. Bro. I spent $150 for the podcast, bro. It's
no. I
had to buy it for the podcast content, bro.
Okay. All right.
Oh goodness. So speaking of Vilgard, again, like I said, EA is going to be like a lot. We're going to be talking about them quite a bit here towards the start. Dragon Age, the Vilgard, it does appear that they might be sunsetting it. This isn't confirmed. This is just the patch notes. People were kind of looking at the patch notes. There was a certain aspect of the patch notes that was stated. I think it's right here. The patch notes finished with Dareth Shiral. I don't know what the fuck that means, but apparently it means farewell or safe journeys in the game's Elvish language. And it's really it's really sounding like this might be like the sunset for updates. Granted, again, that's Doom saying we don't know for sure. I mean they could come out tomorrow and be like, hey, we're bringing out an entirely new DLC. We don't know, but with what we're going to talk about,
the game wasn't going to get DLC.
Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, we don't really have all that much of a hope then. But with what we're going to talk about next as well, it's kind of winding down to that point where I'm just like, yeah, I could see this being the last update, or at least the update that they go to something more of a skeleton crew where it's just like they're working on bug fixes and then that's it, right? Like, what do you guys think about this?
It's not a live service game, so
it was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it's not anymore, and so all that really there is to do now is just bug fixes and like you said, just general little skeleton crew patches.
So can I ask a question? Would you consider Baldur's Gate a live service game?
No.
Okay. Because they're not charging for anything.
Baldur's Gate, it is an outlier, and I'm not trying to compare. We don't do compare. Yes, we do. We compare.
What are you talking about? We compare.
We compare a little bit. We compare a little bit. Listen. I know Baldur's Gate isn't everybody's cup of tea, but they still updating this game.
It's crazy.
This is its final update, and it just dropped recently.
Literally just really dropped like 3 months ago. Yeah.
Are you skipping the news? I think we had that in here.
It's next. Yeah. It's well no, it's not next, but yeah, no, this is
all I gotta say is
literally 3 months and they're already it already appears like they're winding down. And then the next story that we're going to be talking about kind of again explains it away, is like BioWare veterans have confirmed at this point that they were laid off from EA, including senior Dragon Age and Mass Effect devs, which is crazy. And this is coming from PC Gamer.
Can I say something?
This was Tony's. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
So my problem about this is your senior devs.
Yeah.
The people who built your company, basically. And you fire them? What is wrong with you?
Well, to be fair, BioWare senior devs aren't the same BioWare.
Yeah, I was about to say. So
senior, I thought we were talking about the senior was from
senior.
Okay.
Senior dev does not mean like the most. I mean, it does. It does mean like the highest level, but this doesn't necessarily mean the people that have been there the longest. This just means senior dev just means that they have the skill set to be a senior dev, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that they're senior in the company. I do agree with you 100%. I do agree with you that it's crazy that they've laid off senior devs instead of moving them to other projects, which is a whole nother conversation that we can have if you want to, because that ties in with the Ubisoft shit that we were just talking about when it comes down to like quality. The quality of games these days is so poor. And I think this right here, this specific situation where they're laying off veterans and senior devs is the reason why our quality is going down so hard, right? They're hiring these new developers, which I'm completely okay with hiring new developers because they need to get experience somehow. But when you're laying off your senior devs and just sending them off into the wind, that's your quality going out the window. That's your people that know what the fuck they're doing going out the window at that point.
Yeah, especially if they're hiring like a big thing is too, they're bringing all these new people into an existing IP. I think that's a big problem too. Like you're just cycling through all of the older people who are on this and bringing in all these new faces, and that's where you take an IP and it's going down the line and it's just getting further and further and further away from what it once was, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that is a big situation of why Dragon Age is like Veilguard is like it is right now, is because even prior to them releasing, all the original game devs pretty much from the original Dragon Age were not present. Like they were not working on this game.
Writer or somebody they hired
Trick Weeks served as the writer on all the games and expansions from the original Mass Effect trilogy, as well as Dragon Age Origins and Inquisition before becoming the lead writer on Dragon Age: The Veil, while Karen Weeks served as the editor on Mass Effect 2, 3, and Andromeda, Dragon Age Origins, DA2 and Inquisition, Anthem, and Star Wars: The Old Republic, and they all were let go.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so there is some of the old team left.
Yeah.
Well, at least there's a little
bit. Those are games we grew up on, like Dragon Age Origins, all of the Mass Effect games, Star Wars: The Old Republic. These are games that we all grew up on, and they let the lead writer and the editor go, as well as there's a couple of other names on this sheet. You got Ryan Cormier, Jennifer.
Yeah.
These are all people who've
Daniel Steed is crazy.
Bro,
that's crazy.
I don't understand.
The Star Wars: The Old Republic, Legacy of the Sin, and Dragon Age, like he's a big name. And if he's going, that's crazy, man. I don't know. I don't know, bro. This is a really bad decision on EA's part. I'm hoping that what'll come of this is what we've seen from game developers like Blizzard, where they lay off these people and they go and make their own studios and they make amazing content.
Do you see those tweets about them looking for work? If I was a game designer or I own my own company for that, I would hire them immediately.
Yep,
that's crazy.
Smash them up, man. That's just quality. That's just experience and quality right there, up for grabs, pretty much. And I don't know, man. We also heard a story about the fact that the lead of Dragon Age Veilguard was also left, like literally, like I think the director 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. 3 months after the game release, this was a director they hired on.
Insane, dude. Yeah, I believe so.
Not?
Yep.
Yeah.
So insane, man. I don't know what EA is doing, but whatever they're doing, it ain't working, and it makes me like Dragon Age Veilguard really made me scared for the next Mass Effect to begin with, and this just makes me even more doubtful that it'll be anything good if it releases at all. Honestly, I'm still really on that fence of if it's gonna get sunlighted. Like, we know it's in development. Mm-hmm. Is it going to continue to be in development? I'm really concerned about that. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know.
Yeah, I hope they're not. I don't think they're quite in Ubisoft territory, but they're getting close.
They're getting pretty close. Yeah, they are getting pretty close. Another one. Speaking of game directors leaving, Warner Bros. Game boss is leaving following a disappointing Multiverses and Suicide Squad launch. Not surprising on that point for me.
That was to be expected. That was to be expected.
I think we called that as well prior, was that like this was not going to go down. I don't think we called that the game developer, like the boss was going to leave, but that's bad, man.
So here's my thing, rough. Right? Multiverses, if it would have released before Smash Bros, it would have done well. Just my opinion.
Yeah, but not with the shit they pulled.
I was about to say they pulled some crazy shit.
When they released, and in quotes released, they came out on Steam and they were up for like months and months, and then all of a sudden the game just shuts down, disappears, and they're like, "Oh, hey guys, that was just an open beta. We're actually not out." And so then they're like, "Just wait for our full release in a couple more months," and then they come out with all this new shit, and they just reset the game.
Didn't they make you pay for it?
I see what you're talking about.
It might have been like a buy-in earlier.
I thought they made you pay for it originally, and then when it released, it was free. I can't. Don't quote me on that.
It was always free because I never.
Was it okay?
Shit. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I do agree with you. It's not great. Yeah, I don't.
Terribly.
I don't know, man. I never enjoyed it.
I've never played it. I've never played it, so I don't know.
It was about as quality as that Nickelodeon fighting game. Like in my opinion,
Nickelodeon All Stars or something.
For free, it wasn't. I mean, when it came down to it, for free, if you didn't have like a like a fucking Nintendo Switch or anything like that, obviously having something to on the PC was nice. But like, it was not.
Brawlhalla, man.
Brawlhalla was
fucking ass.
Yeah,
I will agree with that completely. Yeah, no, 100%. That one did not surprise me at all. The other one, Suicide Squad, 100% didn't surprise me. We talked about that just barely. Like literally, we mentioned it just barely. That was a terrible game. I'm sorry. If you enjoyed it, I know that Sin loved it. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I heard.
I know that he said he enjoyed it.
He liked it.
He liked it. He can speak for himself right now.
Yeah, he liked it. He called the games that we were just talking about and we grew up on bad games, but he played a pretty bad one.
He had the fun.
He did have fun with it. I could see. Like when it first came out, I saw the bones of it. I thought that the bones of it could be good. The problem with it is that the way that they went down it, the route that they took, and the way that they went down with development was not conducive for pushing that forward as a successful game.
What I don't understand is you had Marvel first, Marvel Avengers. You had that first, right? And you saw how that game tanked.
Yep.
You should have been able to.
They saw how that game tanked, and they went down the same fucking path. Yeah.
And they did the same shit. And I'm like, what?
Live service path that many of these games do. It's just they trickle feed boring, unoriginal content with just minimal effort.
Which brings it back to what we were talking about earlier when the show started, like Marvel Rivals. I am shocked that game is doing so well, and it's solely because we've been saying it from day one when Marvel Avengers came out. The way to make those kinds of games good: release fucking heroes, have content, and have an enjoyable game. Like just those, they're three pillars that aren't that fucking hard. Like
no, it's not. It's not.
Especially with Marvel
Rivals, and I love the company.
Especially with Marvel, especially with Warner Bros. Yeah,
like don't change. Like you have everything laid out for you with these games and these types of games. Don't change it. It's not fucking broken.
It's really. I don't understand. We've been saying it on the podcast for years now. Like it's a very simple. It's a very simple fucking. What's the word I'm looking for? A very simple like task, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's formula. Yes,
it's a very simple formula. Just lean on your fucking content that you have. 80 years worth of content from Marvel's probably about that for Warner Bros. and what's called I forget the name for the comics. The other comics. DC. Yeah, is it same probably the same thing for DC. I think if anything that Suicide Squad should have done better, because like I've said it, Sin said it in the past. DC Comics, their villains are much better than their heroes, in my opinion. Their heroes are shit.
Very true.
Let's be real.
I agree.
But here's the thing: DC is only going to do well in TV. They've never been able to really do well in a game other than Batman. That's it. That's all they got going for themselves.
Unfortunately,
Batman. They have no other games that really do well.
I really do feel if they would just try and branch out and put even an iota worth of effort into their like doing a decent game. Again, Suicide Squad could have been great. Joker is one of my favorite fucking villains for the DC comic books, right?
As soon as you said that, all I could imagine. All I can imagine is them making a game where you get to actually play as the Joker and you beat the shit out of Robin.
Dude,
with a
it would be
crowbar.
crazy.
Like,
Dude, it would be insane, dude.
I would
like
laugh. I would laugh because
it would have to be a mature game for sure.
it would have to be
It would have to
exactly.
be, and there cannot be any Lady Gaga, please.
Yeah,
God.
please don't make it a musical.
Please.
Yeah, please don't make it a
But,
musical.
but how would y'all feel about that? Like, let's think about that for a minute. Just have a game where you're playing as the villains in DC.
I would be
But
completely
you would
fine with
have
that.
to be a
We have
mature
that.
game where
Yeah.
where you're
We
killing
just did it.
civilians and doing all types of stuff.
But
I
now,
don't think the game would launch. Not with the environment we're in. I don't think that would be. I don't think it would probably do well.
I don't
because
know.
people,
I think with
low-key are
GTA,
sadistic.
with the way the GTA
Fair.
is, then again, I don't
Fair.
think the GTA can really release like it did in the past these days as well. So I don't know. I'm really worried about GTA 6 in general for that kind of situation too, because like I think it's
With
going to
the
be
$100
extremely
price
worried.
tag.
Worried. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
there's a lot going
we're gonna talk about that at another time. Believe me, that's going to be an interesting conversation. We don't have enough time in the podcast for that right now.
Fair enough.
All right.
Moving on from shitty company to another shitty company. Microsoft is not ready to deprioritize Xbox consoles, which I don't know. Is that a surprise to anybody? I don't. That's not a
There's too many
surprise to
people
me
on Game
personally.
Pass. There's too many people on Game Pass. They can't
Yeah.
do that.
Well,
I
don't
that's
think-
exactly the reason. Because what was the statistic? Is it 80?
I think it's 85%.
85 somewhere,
An
86.
overwhelming majority of their Game Pass subscriptions are through
On
console,
Xbox.
so
It's not
they
on the
haven't-
PC Game Pass.
No, they haven't broke into the PC marketplace like I think a lot of people thought they had.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. by that. I
Nobody's
thought it
gonna
was
come
a lot,
along.
lot
That was
more
not
on
what I wanted to
PC.
do.
Nobody's gonna come along and replace Steam, bro. It's just not happening.
Yeah,
As a
I-
launcher, you
I
can't.
don't know, man.
You can't
Like,
beat.
if
I don't know,
anybody-
dude.
If anybody could do it, like the game catalog that Microsoft has on Game Pass should be able to at least compete. Like,
Should,
yeah.
but
I
your
understand
launcher is not
now,
clean enough to compete with Steam. It
The
just,
launcher's
they
not
launcher
clean
sucks.
enough. And I think they're trying to push that launcher into other things. Like I know
Yeah.
that they're talking Switch 2. I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if at some
That's what we were
point
gonna talk about,
get
actually, yeah.
we get Game Pass on Switch 2. We get Game Pass on PlayStation if Sony decides to play ball, or if Valve allows for Steam Pass like
On the Steam
merging
Deck.
with or Game Pass merging with Steam. Like you can
Well,
already
they-
get Game Pass on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You can already get it on the Game Pass. On top of that, Xbox has already like ported a lot of their games over to Steam in general. So it's one of those things where it's like you don't need. There's not a huge barrier of entry when it comes to like them kind of contending, but at the same time, Xbox doesn't. I don't think that Xbox like. I don't. It's not a. I don't think. I know because Phil Spencer has already stated they don't care. They just want their fucking games everywhere. They're completely over it. I don't think that they really give a shit about the console market anymore. They're going to make a console because why wouldn't they? Right? Like that's just easy money for them. Granted, we've already talked about the fact that consoles don't make money necessarily, right? But there's
No.
that's a guarantee to basically make a fan out of somebody that buys your console at that point. So they've already invested time, they've already invested money into your console. They're in it to win it, basically. They're in it for the long run at that point, right? So if they buy your console, that's a guaranteed money revenue set, revenue system
see
right there,
where you're
right?
coming from, but I don't see Sony ever allowing Game Pass on their platform. I know they've been in talks,
I don't know, dude.
but I
with the fact
really
that-
highly doubt it, bro. Like that's weird.
With
if
the
they do
fact that where was that? Did I remove that? I don't think I did.
And the only reason I say that is since Sony and
right here.
Microsoft's inception, they've always been at each other's throats, bro. When it comes,
So
to
they
anything.
have, but this right here is Starfield coming out on PS5. Phil Spencer won't rule it out. Xbox is moving to a point where they don't give a shit where you're playing their games at.
Oh,
They
that's
just
fair.
all they
do
care
that.
is that you're
Yeah.
playing their games. If you're playing their games on a PlayStation, more power to you, right? If you're playing their games on a fucking fridge, why the fuck not, right? Like
I
it's
think
they
That
They're
is-
really
that is
trying
how
to push
Xbox-
into publisher territory, like primarily publisher.
and we
Yeah,
talked
okay.
about that
is
in the
how
past.
Xbox has been
Inextensive.
thinking for the past couple years,
Yeah.
but it's really just relying on Sony's side now. Like they're pretty adamant still But
this one right here is the one that really threw me for a loop, with Phil Spencer confirming that Xbox will support Switch 2. That's crazy to me, man. Like I get
they started supporting Switch.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I get that they moved Switch. They moved a couple of games to Switch previously in I think the end of last year or the end of the year before that. I can't remember which. But like I didn't think, like, from what he was saying, let's see if I can find it. Nintendo, their innovations and what they mean in this industry, I just always applaud the moves that they make. They did a little flash video, and I know we'll get more detail over time. I'm really looking forward to supporting them with the games that we have, and I just think they're a really important part of the industry, which is crazy to me.
I think he's just trying to get away from this. I think there's something else going on, that they're not worried about their gaming platform anymore. Maybe it could be AI shit. I don't know, but whatever it is, like, for them to start being like, okay, well, let's put our launcher on Switch. Let's put our launcher on PlayStation. It's one of those power moves, because at some point, if they're not in a console war anymore, now they can focus on other things.
Well, that's he says it right here. It's hard with what's publicly out there right now for everyone to get their heads around. But who would ever bet against the success of that team? They're masterful at what they do. Switch is a massive success, and I think Switch 2 will be as well. That to me just states that, again, we've been talking about it. Xbox is so done with the consoles, right? The console war, they don't give a fuck anymore. They're just like, if you want to play our games on your mobile device, have at it. If you want to play our games on a PlayStation 5, go for it, right? If you want to play our games on a Switch, we got you, right? They just like Bill said, I think they're really going down the route of publisher, and I think it's going to hurt them in the way of, like, obviously we've talked about in the past where their market sales versus PlayStation 5 have never been like top dollar, right? The PlayStation 5 always outsells them on their market sales. That point, I think, is what they're trying to move towards, is like, okay, yeah, PlayStation, you guys have won. Like, good for you. Have at it. Enjoy. Congratulations. Play our games. Here's our games. Yeah. If we completely succeed, you're good. You guys are the best. Have our games. We'll make money off of you.
The past years, Xbox really hasn't even been competing. It's mostly Sony competing.
Yeah, they haven't. Yeah, they haven't. The last really time that they competed was when the Xbox One dropped. I don't even think this past console.
I don't even think they won on that, dude. Yeah,
they didn't win, but I'm saying competing. That's the only time that they tried to compete, because I think that's when not the 360. When the 360 dropped, their title was Halo.
They lost one.
And Gears of War, and then after that, it's kind of been like crickets for the most part.
I just hope that this new move with them puts them back into actually putting more quality into the products they're releasing.
I do too.
We can get some of the old Xbox franchises back in the quality that they used to be. I don't want to see another shitty Halo game.
It's another shitty Halo. That's what I was going to bring up, is another shitty Halo. I'm hoping that if they finally have Halo on the PlayStation, it's going to make them more accountable for what they release. For sure. 100%.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that.
And even the games that they just launched, like Indiana Jones, from what I understand,
I've heard it's good. I've heard it's really good.
Let me talk about that, because go ahead, Bill. So I'm gonna let you finish, because
I don't have any hands-on time with it, but it's good, but it's not pushing the Xbox brand in
a Bethesda game. Let's be real.
It's a net neutral. Fair enough. And it's another meh from the Bethesda acquisition.
Yeah.
So I played.
In my opinion, it's probably on par with Starfield. I know a lot of people like Starfield, and I know a lot of people
I would actually say it's a little bit better than
I would
Starfield.
say it's better than Starfield, in my opinion. Okay. My only issue with this game,
more than Starfield,
my only issue with this game is, and it could be on my end, but I had someone else play it as well. Like, when you try to play it from the PC Xbox store on Xbox Game Pass, it crashes a lot. That was just my only issue with the game. Other than that, for what I experienced, that it was crashing.
The game, Xbox PC Game
Xbox,
Pass in general.
Xbox PC Game Pass sucks so much.
Not just that, but it's also a Bethesda game. So it's one of those things. Like, I'm not making an excuse. That is not an excuse.
Together,
but both of those together,
you're done.
Yeah, that's but the amount of game that I did get to play, which was only the epilogue or the exposition, whatever you want to call it. But at the very beginning of the game, it was actually I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
I was enjoying it. I was actually like, yo, I want to actually finish it. And every time I relaunched it, I get like 3 minutes, 4 minutes into the game, crash. 3 minutes, 4 minutes into the game, crash. I was like, you know what? Fuck this game. I'm done. Fuck you're free. I'm out of here. Like I was just getting upset. I was like, you know what? Free isn't worth it. I'm out of here. But good game nonetheless for me.
Speaking of moving on from that, speaking of Xbox acquisitions, what do you guys think about Avowed? You guys looked into this any? About Avowed? They released information that they will not be. It's not technically going to be an open world. It's like all handcrafted, like
Avowed.
Yeah. Avowed is black. What's their new name?
Obsidian.
Yeah, the guys that made Outer Worlds. They were the original creators of Fallout. The original they did Fallout New Vegas.
No, that's the only one they did.
No, they were the Obsidian was the original Fallout 1, 2, and 3, and then they were sold it off to Bethesda.
Okay.
Or
maybe so.
3 was Bethesda. 1 and 2.
3 was Bethesda.
1 and 2 was Obsidian, and then New Vegas was Obsidian as well.
Yeah.
So
I think that sounds right.
But yeah, what do you guys think about this? This is supposed to be a huge game for Microsoft. Like this right here is supposed to be their Skyrim essentially.
Yeah, well, I've been on this for years, and I've been so tossed and back and forth because they come out with gameplay and it looks like shit, and then they come out with more gameplay and it's like, all right, well, maybe it's not. There's a chance, and then they come out with this, and I'm open to it because there are like. You can still have a fairly open world and not be called an open world. It just depends on how big it is,
I think this is a great idea.
Do you?
Yeah,
I do.
So is it just because you feel like it's gonna more directly, because like the way that I look at it is like I'm kind of on the fence with it. In certain aspects, I'm like, this is a good move because like they're saying in this interview, essentially they can control what the player is experiencing at any given time, right? Which is good.
Like
which is what and coming from like Skyrim, coming from Bethesda games where like yes, they give you complete freedom to do whatever the fuck you want to, but it's at certain points in those games, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what.
Yeah.
What do I do now? Like
I think there does need to be some sort of direction.
So you want a more linear experience. Got it.
And again, that's why I'm on the fence.
Linear it is.
Yeah, that's why I'm on the fence, is because like I do enjoy those games like Bethesda's original games like Skyrim, where it's just like they throw you into a fucking world and you do whatever the fuck you want to, right? Those are great. So I loved those games, but moving into like my older age, I'm like, dude, I just don't have time to do that. Like give me a good narratively driven story that I don't have to figure out, okay, I did this, now I need to go over here. That's a good thing in my book in a lot of instances. I still want that freedom, and it doesn't sound like they're taking that away in complete, right? Like it doesn't sound like they're completely removing your freedom. You can still kind of do whatever the fuck you want to. It's just each individual section of the game is going to be like focused directly into one specific storyline, right? Instead of instead of just being like one big open world where you can go over here and you're in a completely different storyline, but like if you step like 2 feet over here, you're in a completely different storyline, right?
So my question to you is, I need an example. So for me, I feel like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was linear but open. It was still very open, but you knew where to go. It always pointed you in the right direction. I feel like, in my personal opinion, and these are two totally different games, but Legend of Zelda, the latest, not the latest one, which one? Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like that's too open. That, in my opinion,
so those are very good examples of the two. Like this game, from what they're saying, and I'll just read this. He says, "We know roughly what you've done before we've gotten to the next thing. It's still a very open structure within these zones where you can do whatever you want to for the most part, but it's not one contiguous area where you could be anywhere at any moment. They say that you never know where the player is and what they're doing at any given time, so having these zones that happen in sequence means we can always know what content we're pushing, essentially, what content you've just come from on the critical path. Maybe not with side quests and everything like that, but like I said before, these zones that you're in are going to be open enough that you can kind of feel like it's an open world, but at the same time, the zone you're in has a very structured, very on rails almost storyline when it comes down to like the main story.
God of War.
Kinda.
I don't know. I think
God of War was
maybe-
kind of
it's gonna be
open
more
but
open than God
linear.
of War.
Maybe a
You
little
think
more
more
open than God of War, yeah.
Well, even so, that's still not too bad. Like,
it's
like God
not.
of War for me was fairly fucking open. If you
Did
want to
anyone
get
play
technical.
the Outer Worlds here?
I played it a
God of
little
War.
bit.
I played a
that's-
little bit. I know what you're talking about.
That game was the same idea, really.
Yeah.
It was a instanced. Each instance was like a different planet you went to. Same with Borderlands 3. I think that game did it as well, where it wasn't completely open world, but you went to different planets, and that's essentially what this is. It's just each planet is a new biome or zone. I think honestly, this is probably going to be
I think it's a
fine,
good move.
as long as like there's still enough in the zones and they're still big enough, but also not too big, because that's the problem with open world games that a lot of these games have, is when they are too big, you're going to find a lot of dead space if they're not well crafted and very thought out and thorough. So that's where I'm like, all right, I can see this being a good thing, because maybe there won't be as much dead space and like just kind of like nothing to do in that world. So
I agree.
I'm definitely open to it.
I
I'm
agree
about
completely.
it.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. And kind of close it out. I think they need to make a statement like this, because a lot of the PR from like third-party sources and stuff has been saying this is Obsidian Skyrim, and I think they need to curb that expectation right off the game before the game even comes out, so that people don't go into it saying, "Hey, what?
They wrote on that for a good minute.
So small. What the hell?"
They definitely wrote on that shit for a good minute.
They did.
That's all.
They 100% did.
I think it was like 2021 Summer Game Fest or some shit is when we originally saw it. Something like that. I don't know. They definitely played it out to be like
they leaned into
Skyrim,
it was their Skyrim. If I remember correctly, they had jokes about the fact that like it was made by the people that made Fallout New Vegas, and this
So
get everybody hyped up for it.
But,
no, I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm still on the fence though about it, because like I just everything, like all the gameplay that I've seen, I'm just like, I'm not impressed. Don't worry, guys. Dude.
I'll get it, but it's gonna be for the podcast.
It's gonna be for the podcast.
It's gonna be for the podcast.
Wait. Scruff. Let me get it, right? And you get the Assassin's Creed. The only reason I say that, hold on. Like, hear me out.
No.
The only reason I say that,
Assassin's Creed is going to have rats though, so you're gonna want that one. All right, you're gonna want the rats.
No.
Yep. I'm just saying. So you can keep Assassin's
but the reason,
Creed.
but some people, like, the reason I say do that is only because I'm gonna be a little jaded. So my opinion the game may be fire.
Only.
And that's the only reason. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only reason.
It may be fire, and I may shit on it. So I don't want that to happen. So that's why I was like, Scruff, you do that, and I'll do it.
You got this, bro. You got this, bro.
Account, and you buy that on your account. We'll trade accounts for like a day, and we'll play.
Right. Let's do it.
Okay.
Jesus. Speaking of Ubisoft, did you see they announced that they closed the studio and laid off 185 staff?
I'm just over them at this point, bro.
This was another European studio, and then they cut staff in adjacent European studios as well. So.
Okay, this ain't the PP predicts, but let me ask you this: you think they're going to last until the end of the year?
It depends on Shadows.
It really does depend on Shadows, I think.
Yeah,
I think if Shadows does marginally well, if Shadows does as well as Assassin's Creed Odyssey did, I think they stick around.
Odyssey was a outlier. The only reason I say that is so many people enjoyed that game out of Valhalla, and what was the other one? Origins. That game was an outlier. For some reason, that game, from what I understood, was enjoyable for a multitude of people. And only reason I say that is I've sat in parties and watched people stream it, or for that matter, sat in there and seen them play it, and they was like, "This is enjoyable." And it even almost got me. And I don't play Ubisoft games like that, so I was just thinking,
honestly, after the launch of Shadows, I think they still will have maybe 6 months to a year. But I after that, I don't think they have anything else in their court after Shadows. They're losing so much staff. They're shutting down so much. I don't think they have enough time to cook something else up to really keep going. So I think it is inevitable.
I don't know, man. I'm really hoping. Like, I think I've been the most hard on Ubisoft. Like, I know you just got in here.
Were you?
I know that you. Hey, I'm not the one that bought Star Wars Outlaws and played it. I'm just gonna put that out there.
He didn't buy
it. I'm sorry. He got it for free. That's right.
I got a code. But to be fair, it still sucks.
Yeah, did they send you an invoice after your review?
Because yeah, I think
I'm just glad they don't look at the podcast, because I shit all over that. I'm so sorry.
in comparison to Tony coming on, I think I've been the hardest on Ubisoft when it comes down to a lot of stuff throughout the years. I hope they pull through with it, man. Like, as much as hard as I've been on Ubisoft, I enjoyed Ubisoft back in the day. I enjoyed all the Splinter Cells. I enjoyed the fucking. I enjoyed the hell out of their Rainbow Six Sieges, not the Rainbow Six. I enjoyed Rainbow Six Siege, but their Rainbow Six in general, Vegas. All of their Rainbow Six games in general were all really of their
Splinter Cell. If they brought back a Splinter Cell game right now, I may forgive them. I just may be like, you know what? Oh, well, come here, get this.
But I'm hoping that they can restructure enough to be able to pull through. I don't believe it's going to happen. I really don't think that it's going to be able to happen. But I don't want to see Ubisoft vanish. If it does, I'm really hoping that like Assassin's Creed goes to a company that will actually take it fucking seriously, and we get some decent Assassin's Creed games. Because Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3 were and Black Flag.
They were
3
great.
Is Black Flag.
They were great.
Were my favorite fucking Assassin's Creeds in that entire thing. I'm pretty sure.
3 was Assassin's Creed 3 was
3 might have been the American
Revolution. Civil War. The Civil War.
3 was still good. I didn't like it as much. 4 was Black Flag, I believe.
4 was Black Flag with the
loved it.
A proper pirate game.
Either way, I'm really hoping that if they do close it down, these studios go to developers that will take them seriously and do well by them, right? Because I think that, again, Bill said it for a long time that like Rainbow Six Siege needs a little bit more love. They've been doing really well, but like, haven't you said that the last couple of seasons have been just not great?
Yeah. Last season wasn't great. This season is doing okay.
They're shaping up to be better.
The cheating problem just keeps getting worse and worse. They have not fixed the cheating problem at all, even with like the updates to BattlEye, even with the mousetrap stuff. Them introducing console player base and PC player base lobbies together has just fucked everything.
Yeah. Like I said, hopefully, if it does fail, they go to developers that take them seriously. Ideally, I would hope it doesn't fail, but I don't see it. Like, I really don't see them pulling through with it, but
yeah,
who knows, man? Who fucking knows? So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth breaks franchise single player record on Steam. That's crazy.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty fucking crazy, man.
They deserve it. Yeah.
I've been watching Crow play this the last couple days, and it's. I know I've given it shit for, it be me thinking that it's a remake or a remaster and everything like that. But like, after actually watching, because I don't think I ever caught any of your gameplay of it, Bill.
No, I never finished it, but I got about a quarter of the way through.
Yeah. I don't think I ever caught your gameplay of it. I've been watching Crow play it, and I'm like, okay. I see the hype. I see it.
I can't. I see the hype, but I can't get into it because it's not. This is just personal to me. It's not turn based. So they said you can do turn based stuff in there, but I'm just not.
They lie to you. there's a turn-based mode in the original too, and what it is the game auto plays for you, and you just manage like their spells and abilities, like their spells and like special abilities.
That's
But like
kinda lame.
they automatically
Yeah.
walk around, dodge,
That's
auto attack for you. You just manage the.
I'm
other thing.
used to Final Fantasy being turn-based, and if you want to do like games that like Tales of, Kingdom Hearts, I'm cool with those being, hey, you not button mash, but you're like this. But Final Fantasy was always a turn-based game for me. So when this came out, I was just like, I watched people play it.
16 and 15,
but,
were you?
So 16 pissed me off, and the only reason I say that is on the demo, I sat with the controller on my desk for about 15 minutes watching the game, and instead of playing, and I got upset. I was just like, I'm gonna pay $70 for a movie.
Why weren't you upset with ReFantazio then, or whatever it was for Metaphor? Dude, Metaphor, bro. The intro was 15 minutes worth of video. What do you mean?
That is an anime. Hold on. That is an anime. Number one, and then number two. Well, technical Final Fantasy technically, but once you got into the meat of the game, there was plenty of gameplay swapping. Nah. It's not the same. It's not the same.
When I first started that game, I was just like, well, I feel like I'm about to watch a fucking full movie. What is this bullshit?
But in Final Fantasy 16, was it 16 bills or 13? I'm sorry, I'm getting my numbers fucked up.
16 was
16.
It was, yeah.
It's the movie. Bills know. Yeah. It's the movie. He was about to even say it. It's the movie. Yeah, it's like a movie, bro.
Did
like
you
I
get
spent
to the gameplay.
I got a little bit in it, and I was like, oh, I like this. And then as I'm fighting, cutscene, I'm like, man, fuck this. I'm not playing this anymore. Enjoying the game, and then I get a cutscene. I was like, I'm not playing this somewhere.
That's dope though. Yeah, it amassed 40,000 players on Steam according to Steam DB. The remake sits at a peak of around 14,000, and Final Fantasy 14 sitting at 95,000. That's crazy though. Like
that is.
I mean, that 95,000 is not that impressive. It's considering 14 is an MMO. Like I wouldn't have even fucking put that in the runnings. That's weird that they even put that in there, but 40,000 is still huge for a single player.
I mean, 90,000 for MMO. Wow, this MMO is like how old now? It's over 10 years old, right?
It's old, yeah. But you got to remember as well, they just came out with a new expansion pack less than a year ago.
Okay, so well, like you should have more than 95,000.
Yeah, 95,000 is not a whole hell of a lot, but it's still impressive. But
I'm surprised that it's doing as well as it is, considering it's technically a sequel to the remake, and remake didn't do the best on PC. Maybe
is it because of Sephiroth?
No, I think it's Epic Games' fault. Because
remake
was on Epic.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't exclusive for a long time, wasn't it? For like a year and a half or some shit.
I think Rebirth came out in tandem on
directly to Steam. Yeah.
On Epic and Steam. So I think Epic might have cucked the remake numbers.
Another fucking thing that Epic cucks all the time, bro. Fucking Fortnite bullshit. Let's go.
I will say I'm happy to see Square Enix seems to have broken out of the funk that they were in. From like the NFT game, the Forspoken stuff. I'm glad to see that they seem to be kind of riding the ship appropriately.
Do you think they can continue to carry it though? That's my biggest question. Is like, do you think they got the jowls or whatever you want to call it to continue on with new IPs?
Next Final Fantasy 14 expansion,
we better be good, man.
It better be good. It has the potential to be really good, and I think the only reason the newest one didn't do as well is because it's setting up the new story arc, and kind of similar to how
it was boring, dude.
Final Fantasy similar to how Final Fantasy 14 was setting up like the world building and stuff like that. You gotta lay that groundwork.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like even I would rather have slogged through a Realm Reborn than play this new expansion. Like that's bad, dude. Realm Reborn is rough. Like
yeah, it is.
Anyways, we'll talk about that later. That's a conversation for.
But no, I think they got Kingdom Hearts coming out soon. That'll be good. Mm-hmm. The next Final Fantasy, both in the remake series and like the next numbered one, I think have the potential to be very good. I'm actually really intrigued with what 17 is going to do, if it's going to
is 17 building off of 16.
No.
Okay.
They haven't announced anything about 17, but I'm curious
Okay.
to see if it's going to go like the heavy action, like Devil May Cry style, like if they're going to keep upping, like doubling down on
Yeah.
that, or if it's going to go more back to how 15 was with like party-based action, or if we potentially get a return turn-based. Like I think turn-based has been doing well
I
enough
know one
with
person that would
Metaphor,
love that. I knew
with
two
Baldur's
persons
Gate.
actually.
Like
Yeah.
I think there's enough interest in like triple A graphic turn-based
Yeah.
that we could see it happen, and I would be down for it.
It'd be interesting to see for sure. Yeah. Speaking of fucking Epic and Tim Sweeney's bullshit, this one was one that I wanted to talk about really badly because obviously I am not an Epic shill. I do not like Epic. I do not like Tim Sweeney at all. You guys can fucking fault me for it if you want to, but he's an asshole. Tim Sweeney says Epic can afford to keep spending billions fighting Apple and Google for the future of Fortnite on mobile for decades to come.
What a
That's
child.
Yeah.
Well, as much as you guys don't like Epic, though, for gamers, if they do continue fighting and they end up winning this is going to be a good thing in the long term. Like I know that you don't like Epic being the ones manning, like steering this ship.
True.
But this is a very good thing for gamers as far as MTXs go, as far as
true
for the mobile side,
transparency, especially
I agree with you.
Mobile games, like AAA games are coming to mobile. We had the Resident Evil series on mobile now. Phones are getting to the point, and tablets, where they can handle this kind of gaming. So we need these kinds of things to be pushed for, so we're not overpaying.
To that too, like sometimes mobile is all that like some gamers have. So
I don't disagree with you. My only issue is how it's handled, how they've went around it. And how they're moving forward with it as well, considering the fact that, you know how Epic kind of did, they kind of did an oopsie about 4 or 5 years ago where they kind of said, hey, Steam, we know that, we don't like paying the 30% to go to Steam, so we're just going to make our own fucking thing, and fuck you, we're going to pay a bunch of people to come over to our launcher. It's going to fail eventually. We know that it's going to fail because we don't have the fucking chops to make an actual launcher worth a damn, right? But we're still gonna do it. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it again.
They were promising all the payouts for all these like free games, all that whole fiasco, and people weren't being like paid out. Or they were pretty much getting the fucking shaft end of the stick.
They're doing it again on mobile.
They can put billions and billions of dollars into this lawsuit, so that money can go all there, but not to all the developers.
Yeah, they're like I said, they're doing it again on mobile now. So they're basically doing the exact same thing that they did to Steam for Google and Apple, which I completely agree with you. It's a great. I do believe that they do need some form of contention or some form of what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Competitive, competing competition. Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't agree. I don't think that Epic just has the chops to do it. And the way that they're going around it, again, they're doing the exact same fucking thing they did with Steam. They're trying to lure people over by basically saying, hey, where was it? It was where were there? I can't remember what it was, but they're basically doing the same thing where they're going to offer free games on the mobile store. They're doing it's basically take the game plan that they had with Steam that failed. They've admitted failed. They themselves have admitted that they failed when it came down to porting things over from Steam and going up against Steam. They're going to take that entire fucking everything that they did there and do it again here, which is crazy to me that they haven't learned their fucking lesson. And it's even more crazy that they're like, yeah, this is uneconomical. This is not good. We're going to lose a lot of money, but we're going to do it anyways because we can.
Jeez.
I don't get it, man. Like, good on you.
I'm with you Tim. On it, because if they fuck it up, it's going to ruin.
It's just going to hurt. Yeah, it's just going to ruin people do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, dude.
I'm with you on that one.
It's a rough one for me.
I think the cause is good. It just sucks that it's Epic leading it.
Yeah, no, 100%. The Epic, and I just don't think that Tim Sweeney has the attitude to do it. He's very much a the kind of person that's like, well, you fucked me, so I'm going to do everything in my power to return the favor, no matter the cost, to myself and or the people that I'm pulling alongside me, essentially, which is not good. That's not a good way of being. Anyways, Ninja Gaiden 4's development is 70 to 80% complete, and it's in its polishing phase. This is cool.
Out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I was about to say I honestly didn't even fucking know.
On this
one. I didn't even fucking know, dude.
Isn't like Ninja Gaiden 2 also being remade or something?
It's already out. I think
it's
launched
out. Yeah,
Ninja Gaiden 2 Black.
Yeah, they shadow dropped Ninja Gaiden 2 Black and announced that Ninja Gaiden 4 is damn near done. Like, just out of nowhere. They're like,
this is crazy.
Have one of the best action games to ever been made, and on top of that, we're making another one. Like,
that's a perfect example of like good marketing and like how you do it. Like, push a product that like isn't your, just a remake is something you could do any day, right? But then push it for the hype of what you're actually releasing. That's
building up
amazing.
The sequel.
Yeah.
And Platinum Games doesn't miss. Let's be real here. Platinum Games is one of still the best development studios out there as far as bringing out consistent top quality AAA games. Yeah. They have the action formula down to a T. They really don't miss, and I'm very excited about Ninja Gaiden 4. I think I'm gonna have to replay Ninja Gaiden Black on stream at some point here soon before 4 drops, because
all right, Bill, don't give them too much praise. We did that with the other companies and look what happened. Just, we got to be silent about our praise, Bill. We give them too much.
I feel you.
I'm good with showing praise if they've made like tangible evidence. They've given me tangible evidence in the past to be like, yeah, I'm okay with fucking giving them praise. Like Yoshi P, I'm okay with giving him praise because he's given us enough tangible evidence to be like, yeah, other than the last expansion for 14, he's hit bangers every time. So I agree with you, and I can see where you're coming from. But yeah, this surprised me, dude. I didn't even know that they were doing a Ninja Gaiden 4. I didn't even know they were doing a Ninja Gaiden fucking remake. That came out the other week, and I was like, when the fuck did they do this? I was watching it on Twitch. I was just like, what? When did this release?
No, they fucking shadow dropping them out of nowhere, and letting the community hype do its thing. Like, it's
crazy, man. It's a good process, man. I've thoroughly enjoyed every game that's released. Well, most of the time, most of the games, I should say. Most of them have been pretty decent, but another game that just continues to fucking drop banger after fucking banger after fucking banger, bro. Did you guys see that No Man's Sky just released Worlds 2?
Saw that today, yeah. That was
crazy,
today, right?
Dude. Yeah. I don't know if it's actually released yet or not. I believe it might be.
Usually when they come out with it, usually it's like releasing in the next,
within like the next couple days.
Couple days.
But yeah, they're introducing update 5.5. Dude, it's so fucking like,
I know, same.
No Man's Sky is one of those games, and we talked about it on their last update where I was just like, dude,
it's now available.
It's okay. It is. That's fucking insane, dude. It's getting to the point where like it's getting to that section of gaming where I'm like, there's almost too much in the game for me to handle. It's getting to that point where I'm blanking on the fucking name now. Just barely.
You're getting overwhelmed. It's
Path of Exile. I'm getting to the point where like I was with Path of Exile, where it was just like you would go into it and you're just like, okay, there's shit here, there's shit here, there's shit here. What do I do? Where do I go? What's this? What does this do? I'm just
that's
like,
how I felt in the Tears.
I'm like, what do I do, man? But yeah, so they're adding in new landscapes, which is kind of crazy. Apparently they've gotten a new generation for their alien terrain, so you're going to see like bigger mountains, bigger valleys, huge plains, insanely untouched planets. Some of the stuff that they've talked about with this is like they're adding in new worlds, I guess, like gas giants and stuff like that. And these gas giants are like, if you know anything about astrology or planetary, sizes and everything like that, gas giants are fucking huge. Like, huge. Like in comparison to the Earth, like we're a marble in comparison to a gas giant, right?
Yeah.
So they're 100% necessary for a lot of galaxies.
Yep, for sure. And so they're going down that same route. These gas giants are going to be like the largest planets that they've ever had. Apparently, they're going to have deeper oceans, which kind of goes into that same thing with their new terrain kind of generation and everything like that. Apparently, these oceans are going to be like the further down you go, like realistic, like the further down you go, the darker it gets, to the point that like
creepy.
There's no fucking light.
Sin will never. Sin's only gonna stay in space. He's never going down there, dude.
Exactly.
That's like, that's Subnautica.
Yep. And that's,
I can't play that game. I can't play that though. Yeah.
Are there going to be like mechanics around the gas giants? Like obviously you won't be.
I believe so. Yes. So I believe you can on some of them. What was it? There it is. Gas giants. Huge gas worlds have formed across the galaxy, bringing their own unique environments and materials. These giant planets are characterized by immersive atmospheric pressures, tremendous gravity, and volatile atmospheres, and each is orbited by a collection of moons. From what I saw there, this right here, this was what I was looking at. So this is on a gas giant. This is the surface of a gas giant right here. And it's just got like fucking shit everywhere.
Sick.
There's just
how many
like
people can
storms.
play this at a time?
Unlimited.
What?
It's an MMO. You can have as many people on a planet as you possibly can. Like,
oh my goodness.
to be able to see unlimited people. Like,
yeah.
Can you?
As far as I know, there is no limit to however many people you can see at the moment.
Gotcha.
There used to be when it first released. You couldn't see anybody. When it first released, you couldn't see
fucking
anybody,
wild,
which is crazy.
That's
but yeah.
Crazy.
They're also adding a new narrative-driven mission.
And if you get,
I would assume so.
Like get caught
Is
up.
that Unicron? What?
No. So this is the narrative-driven mission. So they're adding new lore into the game, which is already crazy to me because the lore in this game is already very, very deep. But they're adding an entirely new section of the mission storyline that expands upon the Atlas and the Antlidian robotic bullshit that they added in 2 or 3 updates ago, I believe. I believe they're also coming out with new Guardians, the Deepwater Guardians, which is going to be like if you're in the ocean killing shit, there's now going to be like a giant monster that comes in and chases you and like fucking tries to get you out. So
I got a PP prediction. I got a PP prediction on this game. With the AI that's coming out now, and this game completely expanding, because when I first saw this game, it was not what it is now. No, it reminds me of when Fortnite first started, and Fortnite wasn't what it is now. And look at what Fortnite became.
No, it's definitely.
I think this game.
Yeah.
I think this game has the potential with VR to be like a big fucking thing. Like
this game already has VR integration in it.
See, well,
you can play this game completely in VR if you want to. It's insane. So yeah, they've got new Deepwater Guardians, which is kind of crazy. I think that's the first time that we've had like any kind of like huge threat from the ocean. There's always been like tiny threats in the ocean, like little tiny monsters and shit that can attack you, but there's never been like an actual like boss monster in the ocean. So that's really
Isn't
cool.
The ocean fairly new too? It was only a few updates ago.
So the new styling of the ocean is new. Yeah, the ocean has always been there.
There was a big ocean update.
Yeah, when they added the fishing,
it, maybe.
Yeah, when they added the fishing, that's when they started adding in a lot of shit. They're also going to have deeper jungles, denser jungles. It looks like thicker vegetation, denser undergrowth, which is crazy. Like this is some of the
Why couldn't Starfield get this right?
Yeah,
cough.
It's fucking crazy, man. I don't know, dude. They're also adding new physics to the water. So like when you drive your ship across the water, you'll see like waves, like it undulates out from your ship's like thrusters and shit.
So they've got like a particle effect. They're actually adding a physics engine. So
actually adding a physics engine, so that there's actual
engine.
So there are actual fucking waves and shit. This is a new one right here as well. New environmental hazards. So instead of the way it used to be, when you would go down on a planet, you would have environmental hazards, but they would only be present during storms, which were these big events that happened pretty much across the entire world. It would make it so that there was just like some of them were radioactive hazards. So you'd go down there, you'd have to have like a higher radioactive resistance on your ship. Some of them were heat resistance, some heat based. Some of them were toxic rain, everything like that. This new system now has like geysers. It has like radioactive areas that you can find. It has like areas that are very active with like flame or electricity, like not radioactive, but like geothermal vents, everything like that. Insane, crazy. Abandoned mode is being added as well, which is something that they added in the last update. They had an expedition, which is like the seasons for this game. In that season, there was nothing. Everything was gone. So there was no NPCs. There was no vendors, anything like that. It was a very, very hardcore like survival. You had to find everything on your own. There was nobody to trade with. The intergalactic trade was very, very limited, if I remember correctly. They're adding that in as a game mode so that you don't have to wait for like a season. You can just add that in, play that as a game mode, and you can do that whenever the fuck you want to, which is crazy. Yeah. I don't know how
not playing this as
dude,
a group?
I don't know how much I can gush over this game. It's crazy. The bigger thing on this is that they're also, a lot of the development that they're doing for this game is going to go into their next game, which I think is called See No Fire, Light No Fire. That was it. So Light No Fire is going to be basically No Man's Sky but fantasy. So you're going to be like on a fantasy world. It's one single world. It's all based off of like you're going to have dragons, you're going to have dungeons, everything like that from what they've told us about.
It's going to be the next Skyrim.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't want to get too hyped for it because I was really hyped for this game, No Man's Sky, when it first released, and it disappointed me, but man, they have brought it back.
But maybe they've learned. Maybe they've learned.
There's no maybe. You know, I believe that they have. I'm pretty sure that they have, dude.
Well, just for a launch release and giving expectations for a game, because they gave expectations and obviously they didn't deliver, but they've only built upon. They're good at building upon.
Yeah.
I just hope they can deliver now.
There's there's giant squids in the oceans apparently too. That's
hell yeah.
Billy's gonna be happy about that. New Relic Worlds, man. It is crazy. This is the dynamic water simulation that I was talking about. So as you're flying across the water, you see how like dimples and waves underneath. I'm gonna say that doesn't look the best, but it looks a lot better than it does. The world looks great. The water physics look a little rough, but they're not terrible. They're not like Star Wars Outlaws terrible.
More than most games have when it comes to water and oceans.
Yeah.
I will still say, and I Sea of Thieves does it the best. Although I don't think Sea of Thieves water is physics based. I think it's just
Sea of Thieves water is physics.
Well, I mean, like with
the waves are physics at least.
It clashes and I don't know.
Yeah, the waves at least are physics if I remember correctly. But yeah, manta rays, dude. This update is crazy. This is a
big fucking update.
Enriched Seas, Titan Expedition, which is huge. These expeditions
say it every time
big.
Their updates fucking deliver loads and loads and loads of content.
Lighting overhauls. This is before right here where the shadows were just kind of meh, and this is after where it actually like gives you some decent shadows and everything like that. Man, it's crazy, dude. The amount of content.
I'm about to try this game. How much is this? Let me go ahead and check.
It goes on sale so much.
The amount of content that's going into this game is insane. This is like, I'm not even halfway down.
$10 or something.
I'm not even halfway down with the amount of content that they added, dude. Like this, I'm still scrolling.
Fact, the game is 60% off right now, so it's $24.
They usually
well fucking worth it, man. So if you haven't played it
for the new patch, so.
If you haven't played it, be like Tony, go and buy it currently because it's gonna be a huge one. $24 is crazy.
And offer ends February 10th, so you got a minute to think on it.
You have so much content to go through for $24. Like easily hundreds of hours worth of content for $24. It's insane, dude. Fucking insane. I can't gush about it enough. I have to stop gushing about it. We have too much stuff.
I think you have to play with friends. I don't think you can really solo. Well, you can solo that game.
I've played solo. I've had a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
Just depends on the gamer.
Try it. It really depends on how you like to play games, but like it has something for everybody. So this is a huge one. We were talking about this a little bit before the podcast started. Sony is finally kind of broken down and they're removing PlayStation account requirements for the 4 single-player games they've added to Steam, which are, I believe, Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, Last of Us 2 Remaster, and Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster, which those are all single-player games. They should not have had an account restriction on it. That is insane, and I'm glad that fucking Sony is finally starting to be like, hey.
Now, does this mean that these games are going to become available in the countries that PlayStation Network was not available in?
That's
Is
a
this
good
going to
question.
open them up to being bought in those?
It's a very good
countries?
question. I don't know if it states that anywhere.
That is a good. That is a good question. I
I
don't know.
The PlayStation
hope
account
so.
was the only thing holding them back, so I don't see why they would.
I don't see why they would either. But at the same
I would
time,
hope so.
At the same time, they still can't play fucking Helldivers 2. So it's one of those situations where I'm like,
but that game still
don't
has
know.
the requirement.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Not for PC.
Right.
It's just locked.
It's just locked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's locked
they've
from
just
those
locked it to
countries.
those
They never
countries.
re-enabled
Yeah,
it,
they
yeah.
never re-enabled them. Yeah. So that is a good
That's what
question.
it was.
I would like to see Sony make a statement about that, or at least see if these are available in those countries. I might have to check that out.
Hindering their sales of these games in other countries.
They
But
want
it's-
to appeal to stockholders. That's
it's
all
a
they're
fucking
trying
tantrum,
to do,
man.
and it's
It's
biting them in the butt.
Stupid.
It's a fucking tantrum that Sony is not willing. They are willing to die on that hill for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's a stupid hill to die on, but hey, fucking have at it. I don't know. PS5 outpaces PS4 by 7% in lifetime sales, and Xbox Series falls 18% behind Xbox One in the US. Again,
This kind of goes with what we were saying before.
not really a huge surprise. I think that Xbox
that
just
expected.
doesn't really care about the console sales in general. They've never really cared about them. I mean, they have in the past, I guess.
Right.
But
I mean,
They
last-
cared up until they lost one. And even-
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. He what's the
Phil?
fucking Phil? He even said them losing that console generation was
Oh
what
yeah,
has
it
put
was
them
a
on the path
it was
that
a
they're on
huge
now.
blow. Yeah, it was a huge
Because
blow.
that
man.
was the generation that everybody built up their console libraries. That was the first time digital gaming really was hitting the forefront, and people were getting their digital gaming base. And now it's like if you try to go from an iPhone to an Android, you're so integrated into the iPhone ecosystem. It's very difficult to get
for sure.
everything that you have moved over. Same thing with PlayStation, Xbox. People really flocked to the PS4, and it's very hard to get people to move over to Xbox. That's why Game Pass is their kind of
It always
push.
has too. Is it like
Yeah.
that's always been the case. Even prior to their loss, it was always really hard for people to get people to go. If they've already got a PlayStation, it was already difficult to get them to be
or
like,
vice
okay,
versa.
or vice versa. Yeah, I'm not saying either way either way is better or worse. It's that tribal mentality that we've talked about. Like my plastic box is better than your plastic box. Shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
So,
and then last but not least, I think this was yours. I think this was yours, Scruffy. Celeste Team's next game, Earthblade, has been canceled. I don't know this game.
hit, but I didn't even know about this game, to be honest. I just know Celeste is a pretty big indie game.
It's
and
huge.
Yeah, one of the biggest in the recent time, at least. And
Oops,
it just sucks
I
when
was
you hear of
muted.
games just being canceled, and I, not even knowing about this game, I was like, oh, that sucks. And they doesn't seem like they even really
Yeah.
gave it a chance.
That's that's the biggest issue with mine for me with this is like looking at the game, this would have been a game that I would have played for sure. Like actually looking at some of the
coming from
graphics and
Celeste,
everything
I'm
like
sure
that,
it'd have been fucking
It-
great.
Celeste was a great
probably
game,
would
man.
have been a great game
I
for
actually
sure.
really enjoyed it.
So just odd just to see something just like out of nowhere. So I guess
But
they might
honestly,
have had a
like-
reason, but
Like again, like I hate to say it because like 2025 and 2024 have just been rampant with that, where it's just been like you hear about a game and you're like, oh, that actually sounds like a really cool premise, right?
yeah.
And then like 6 months later, they come out with that dreaded fucking Twitter post where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
sorry to say it, but you know,
it's
we're
the newsletter
Yeah.
like style too, where it's
Yeah.
like
It's just like this
worded,
square, and
got
it's
some
like,
nice
hey, we're fucking
graphics on the
leaving, you know?
side. Yeah.
We've had way too many of those over 2024 and 2025 starting out already.
Starting at 2020, I'd say it
Yeah.
started those messages.
And I'm wondering, honestly, like I'm wondering how much of that is to do, and we've talked about it in the past, and we've kind of I wouldn't say like given an excuse for it, but I'm curious how much of that was to do with like COVID and the fact that like all these companies were like, okay,
Yeah.
this is that we need to start working, like we need to start hiring more people, we need to start making new content, because this is going to be something that lasts for a long time. And then it didn't necessarily last that long, and or they overspent, and we're just like, yeah, we can't continue this.
I think in some of these cases we're still seeing some of the repercussions of COVID, but you know, it's definitely dwindling, but you know, it's still definitely apparent.
Yeah, so that is it for the news section. We have got a few quick hits.
Actually on track, bro.
We are on track. I'm actually pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Well done.
Good job, guys. Well done.
Yeah,
we didn't fucking go off track. Good job. Woo! Go team. So quick, if you don't know, if you haven't been here and you've been under a rock and you haven't been listening to our podcast for 147 episodes, if you don't know, we do at the end of every podcast, we do quick hits, which are just like they're small little sections of news articles that we didn't necessarily either get time to do, or they weren't necessarily, huge newsworthy that we needed to talk a ton about. Niche, yeah, stuff like that. So that's what quick hits are. Starting off, this one just made me laugh. A Reddit user has claimed that their Gigabyte M6 880X gaming mouse has went up in flames. I wish I had the actual picture, but yeah, it like went up in flames. The picture of the mouse, like if you have a mouse, let me get my actual mouse out, right? Like this thing right here, right? This thing was bulged up to like here. Like the plastic was bulged up to like right here, and it was just smoking.
I'm assuming it was a wireless mouse in the battery pack on
it. I believe it
that's
was.
disgusting, dude.
I believe it was.
It looks like it was a wireless mouse.
It's crazy.
A lot like my Logitech like G502.
Yep.
Another reason, guys, you gotta stick with the wire.
Stick with the wire,
guys. You don't want your house to burn down, so stick with the wired mouse.
This was serious. Their whole mouse pad and desk,
it's huge. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It like that thing went up in flames, and it was hot. It was fucking hot.
Desk.
Yeah. So that shows you those lithium-ion batteries are crazy, dude. That's the same.
I'll link for anyone else in the
chat. I can't pull it up.
You don't have to, but for the guys.
Moving on from that, so make sure that if you're going to buy a Gigabyte or a Gigabyte mouse, like make sure that you get the the non-exploding version.
That's
Google has bought parts of HTC Vive's VR team for $250 million, which is kind of crazy. That's going to be a huge influx for their Meta Quest.
That's gonna come up later, I promise.
Yep.
With that,
I agree with you, dude.
Purchase.
I agree with you. I literally pulled out my Quest yesterday to A, dust it off because I hadn't used it in like a year. But B, I was like, man, I should really look at maybe selling this and getting the new Quest, but I think I might wait and see what comes of this, honestly. Because if HTC Vive is anything to do, like if their reputation is anything to do with it, that's going to be an amazing headset. Over 4 years after launch, Cyberpunk 2077 has hit overwhelmingly positive on Steam. That's big news for me.
Good deal. Good for them.
You know I love my Cyberpunk.
They did earn the comeback.
Yeah, there's another comeback story.
Are you saying they earned the game of the year? The ongoing game of the year? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say all that. I didn't say all that, but I did say they do deserve overwhelmingly positive on Steam, and it was a great game. It should have got a game of the year at least once. So
But yeah, so that's huge news for them. I'm really happy about that. 4 years is crazy though to wait for that. They put in some work, man. They put in a lot of work.
That's the MO, bro. It's the same thing with The Witcher. So
yep, I agree with you. Yep. Resident Evil reboot movie is in the works with Zach Krager. Krager, the Barbarian, writing and directing.
Yeah, he was the director of Barbarian, which is a really good horror movie.
So I think I've seen that one. Is that another A24 or whatever?
It's one about the Airbnb.
It might be. I can't remember.
We're seen to have a fucking rant about shit.
It's no. It was not.
Okay, we're safe then. Since not just gonna pop in suddenly and be like, "Fuck that movie scene." Blah, 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 blah.
No, but it was a pretty solid one.
I don't understand why they keep doing this. Like, I thought Welcome to Raccoon City was supposed to be like the reboot to get it more in line with the games.
That one was animated though, right?
Yeah, I mean this one's gonna be acted too, isn't it? or is this animated?
No. Welcome to Raccoon City was animated, I thought.
No, it was live action.
Oh,
You
What?
talking about the one with Lance Reddick in it?
Yeah.
Really?
No,
Anyway.
that was the TV. That was the TV series.
That was TV series. That was the TV
Welcome to
series,
Raccoon City was a. It was basically Resident Evil 2, the movie.
2021. Oh, this looks like trash.
I mean,
Okay, well,
it wasn't the best in the world,
old
but
Resident Evil movies, like
This
the
looks like
original
trash.
like ones.
yeah, with Mila Jovovich.
Is a
Okay, well-
guilty pleasure of mine.
Well, stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll do a pre-patch podcast
Yeah.
movie reacts or some shit for that.
We're gonna have to talk about this.
Yo,
Yeah.
Scruff just came out of nowhere. This looks like trash.
Speaking of another great movie, Blade Runner 2049 is apparently coming to Fortnite.
Yes.
It's rumored to be in the works.
I put this one in one for
Oh,
Tony
yay.
right there, dude.
Thank you,
Hey, Tony.
Scruff.
Tony
Yeah,
gets
I understand, man.
Tony
I
gets
get
more
it.
shit in
Blade Runner.
Fortnite because we all need that, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, man.
Avalanche Software has confirmed plans to launch Hogwarts Legacy mod support for PC, which is crazy.
That's actually pretty cool.
I thought that
That's
they
really
already
big.
had mods.
It was well, it wasn't like it was.
It was
wasn't
not
supported.
supported. Okay,
Was not
Mm-mm.
supported. That technically they were illegal or cheats, whatever you want to call mods. when they're not
whatever,
supported. I
bro.
don't know that territory when they're not supported. It's different.
Whatever, bro.
Either way, this
cool.
might just give them like a whole Nexus like site. You
Yeah.
know, you know what I
No,
mean?
it's-
Like
That's cool.
That's
I'm
the
excited
thing,
to see. I want to say I've heard some rumors that the next Hogwarts Legacy is in development.
it is from
I wanna
rumors
say that's-
I've heard
yeah.
too. That's
I want
what-
to say
yeah.
that's a possibility. So that'll be
People
cool.
are gonna go crazy.
They
when
are
that
going to go
drops.
ballistic,
Oh my
man.
god.
They are going to
Oh,
go
yeah.
ballistic. Rainbow
That's a
Six
cult
Siege.
now.
We talked about Rainbow Six Siege earlier and the cheaters being just out of hand, right? Apparently,
Mhm.
Rainbow Six Siege cheaters will now be kicked and perma banned instantaneously.
They got to do something, man, because
Yeah.
it's bad. Like I don't play competitive. I don't play
Yeah.
ranked in hardly anything that I play. In quick play, in standard, there are like we're still probably getting at least one cheater a night anytime we
That's
play,
crazy, dude.
which in
Yeah.
those
Damn.
game modes is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
They need
don't-
to work on it for sure. That is one thing that I've seen throughout my years of playing any online game with Rainbow Six is like they do have a really bad issue with cheaters in general.
Yeah.
US
The
physical
walls,
game.
The walls are bad.
Yeah, they are. They're terrible. US physical game spending has halved since 2021, which I knew you would
Well, that's
be
expected. Yeah.
upset about
Sad.
that. That's really
Yeah.
sad. But
expected, but
It's,
sad,
it's even worse in the EU.
really.
but
yeah, I think it's down like
as-
63% in the EU.
as a Hail Mary for that, Video Game History Foundation launched a digital archive with over 30K curated files for video games. So
That's
Yeah.
good. I know
That's pretty cool.
Those archives,
That
they've
is
been
cool.
working on that.
Yeah.
physical game spending might be down, but at least we're not losing the physical like files. You know, that's we've talked about it in the past.
Physical files.
I really do feel like gaming in general should be considered art. Like that should
agree.
be. Shut up.
Same as
Scruffy.
music.
It is.
same
It
as
is in
music.
its own
I'm
sense.
just saying.
It is. in
Shut the
its own
fuck up,
sense. It is
Scruffy.
art.
Physical files. So what are we talking about
Uh,
here?
But yeah, so that they should be considered as art, and it should be underneath that game, that preservation, that art preservation, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that. South of Midnight gets an April 8th release date and a new story trailer. If you guys have not seen that,
excited
it
for that.
looks
I
really
wanna,
cool.
I want to talk about
does.
this slightly. That game
Yeah.
looks incredible, and
It does. It
cannot
looks really
wait for
great.
it to drop. But at the same time, it looked incredible from the release date, like last year when they first showed it, and
The
now
glimpse.
the stuff that they're pushing out now, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. What did you change? It looks different now. It
It's-
doesn't look
so-
as
So
It's
like,
stop
like
motion.
it's stop motion. That's
Yeah.
what throws a lot of people off. Is when they
Yeah.
first announced it,
That's
it
what
wasn't
threw us
necessarily
off.
stop motion. When they had
Yeah.
the game, when they had the gameplay release, this I think it was last in the summer games last year, I
So,
believe.
yeah.
That was one thing that threw Sin off. Was he was
we-
like, why is it so low FPS?
Yeah.
And we're like, no, that's not
We thought it was the
FPS.
stream.
That's stop motion.
Yeah, and
Oh
then
my
we realized, like,
God.
oh my god,
Yeah,
I
the
think-
entire game is
No,
based
no.
off of stop motion. I think.
it's gonna be
I
sick,
think
man.
what they're
think
gonna
it's
have
be
to
sick.
do.
it's gonna be
is-
sick. Okay, I can't wait. I'm gonna try it.
I
Yeah.
think they're gonna have to do a toggle though, like or
I
not
think
a
so,
toggle,
too.
but I think
Or
it's gonna have to be
something.
an
I don't think it's
option
gonna be an-
modifier
I
where
don't
you
think
can
it's gonna
turn.
You
be
can turn it off.
I think they're going to have to. I've heard too many people saying the game looks amazing, but I don't think I could play that because it's going to make me motion.
It's going to make me motion sick.
I think there will be an accessibility option in there to turn off the stop motion effect on the characters.
It'd be nice.
It's possible.
Is this
I'll toggle it off.
I know it goes against the artistic representation that they're trying to do with it, but I think for accessibility's sake, it might be a necessity.
What did you say, Scruffy?
I'm wondering if the stop motion is like a persistent thing throughout the entire game, though. Because
I don't know. We've only seen it
back and forth.
I think it does go back and forth.
The gameplay itself didn't seem like it was as bad, but the cutscenes seemed very stop motion.
It was stop motion with the cutscenes.
So I don't think it's going to be as bad.
We'll see.
Your hands on, but
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
That would be a nice feature.
It would be. Feature, though. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I'm really looking forward to seeing it because that's one of the games that like. Just that like introductory scene that we saw where they were in the bayou and the skeleton dude was playing the fucking guitar and everything like that. That had me hooked. Right from the start, man. I was like, this looks fucking sick. You know.
And for everybody that's watching the podcast, by the way, right? There's a mode to turn it off, and for everybody that wants to know, it's a $40 game. It's $39.99.
That's beautiful.
Not bad. That's awesome.
Yeah, so you can turn the stop motion off if that was something that was holding you guys back on it.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, that's good.
Gotcha.
They've thought of it then. That's really cool. And last but not least, Midnight Society. If you guys don't know what this is, Midnight Society is a game that's I don't know, dude. It's based off of NFT. Yeah. It's based off of NFTs. They were making like an Escape from Tarkov game that was like an NFT game.
Dead Drop. Yep.
Yeah, Dead Drop. That was it. They had
Midnight Society is the studio.
Yeah. There you go. They are closing down its doors after 3 years in development. So another game development that unfortunately we got that little announcement bullshit. You know.
Yep.
So
hopefully they refund all the early backers,
right?
Because I would be pissed if I bought into a game and then it never came out.
Very true.
And just fucking rug pull like every other NFT bullshit.
A lot of people think that this was just a long con rug pull.
Well, could have been.
I mean, it looks like it increasingly. It really does.
And I don't want to get too deep into it. There's a lot of weird shit with not even just their studio, but the involvement
of
the founders and everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't want to get too deep into that. Again, we're not into that kind of shit. So, but yeah, that's the end of it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. And what are you guys doing this week? You guys got anything going on the next couple weeks? Sound off.
Next week for me personally, Monster Hunter Wilds beta drops next week.
Yes.
So yeah, on the I think it's on the 6th, right?
Yeah, Tony, I believe so. Yep.
We've been doing this. So I will be playing that next week. I will definitely be covering that next week on the well, not next week, the week after next.
The week after,
podcast when we come back, talking about that, and I think that is it for me as far as gaming anyway. I think I'm good.
I just gotta say, I don't like the fact that we brought Tony on and now he's taking my Monster Hunter stick from me. This is fucking bullshit,
Damn,
Tony.
Not
get the fuck back in your lane. Go back to fucking Fortnite.
Oh shit! I am a variety player. I love it all. I gotta play.
Oh
but
shit!
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Monster Hunter's gonna be incredible.
What are you up to this next couple weeks, bud?
I just finished the No Death No Bonfire Dark Souls 2 run. I've done that once before. I did it again, so that was pretty cool.
Bro. Fucking,
I'm about to start Demon Souls No Death and do a Sephiroth gameplay run through of Elden Ring and New Game Plus.
Hell
so
yeah!
That's what I'm working on.
Please let me see that No Death Demon Souls run because I hate that game.
It's coming up real quick. I
live vicariously through him, Tony.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Just gotta find the time to do it.
Hell yeah, Scruffy. What about you? What you up to in the next couple weeks?
Probably gaming more of the same things I've been gaming. I've been on a bit of a shooter kick, so I've been playing some PUBG. Had a buddy also want me to hop back on Counter-Strike. A lot of the older shooters, which I'm fine with because the newer shooters.
Counter-Strike, like the new one, Counter-Strike 2, or the old one, like Go?
No. Well, there is no old one anymore. Like other than one.
Oh yeah, that's right. They fucking took over Go and made it to 2.
Overwatch. So
that's crazy.
Counter-Strike Go is just Counter-Strike 2. So Yeah. So yeah, some of that, some of pub, and I'm also in real life side of things. I'm gonna be getting some new piercings. So.
Oh God, we can't show your piercing on your dick, bro. I'm sorry. That's we're not on the right website for that, bro.
No, fuck that.
That's the PP after hours, literally.
PP pierced.
PP pierced is crazy.
Oh shit! And then me, I don't know, dude. You guys know me. I game over whatever. I fucking get my eyes on. Again, like I said, I did just buy Darkest Dungeon 2, so I'm definitely gonna be playing that. Definitely gonna be playing Monster Hunter Wilds. That's gonna be like right up my alley. Again, get in your fucking lane, Tony. God damn it.
Sorry, Godfather. My bad. Damn.
And then other than that, just the standard stuff. I've been playing a little bit of Minecraft the last couple of weeks. Getting back into that 2-week phase, and then probably drop it here within like another week. So
podcast related, but not podcast related. I'm sorry. Did you send me something about Godfather remastered?
Yeah.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I gotta play that.
No, not Godfather. Mafia 2 remaster.
Mafia 2
remaster.
I thought it was Godfather. I was about to say, Jesus, damn. I wanted to play that.
Not yet. I'm hoping that comes out. But yeah, no, Mafia 2 remaster. I don't know if it got announced or if it was a rumor, but I would not doubt it. I really wouldn't. And I'm hoping that if they do remaster it, they remaster it into the same engine that the Mafia 1 the remaster did, because that engine is fucking insane. I loved that fucking game. Mafia 1, Mafia 2 were two of my all-time favorite games. I will play the shit out of both of them. I've already played the shit out of Mafia 1. I think I played it twice now. Replayed it twice now. And Mafia 2 is going to be amazing.
Tony might be a bigger fan of Mafia series.
Get the fuck out of here.
Hold on.
Tony.
Stop starting shit, Scrub.
Goddamn. But anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed that, please go and check out all of our YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, everything. We do have a Blue Sky. If you guys are on that platform now, I know that Sin had just moved over to it, so we do have Blue Sky. So go and follow us over there. You can find us everywhere pretty much at Pre-Patch Podcast. Hopefully you guys have a good 2 weeks. Again, we will not be back next week, so if you guys are expecting us every week, again, we have moved to a 2-week, every other week, I should say. So the next time we have a podcast will be, I believe, on the 13th.
14th.
Yeah, the 13th.
No, 13th. Yeah,
13th. Yeah.
I'm in Friday.
So the next one,
sorry.
Next one will be the 13th. Yeah, he's a time traveler. I am not. Yeah. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for coming out. We love you guys. Yeah. We couldn't do it without you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good one.
Yep. Take care, guys.
Take care, everybody. Installation.